Welcome to Vicious Ink. I'm Tiffany, a dark romance author, creator, and designer with a deep weakness for dangerous books and morally gray chaos. Here, we talk about dark romance, spicy romantasy, obsessive tension, wicked world building, and the stories that sink under the skin and refuse to let go. From brutal little reviews to author confessions and conversations with people haunting this corner of the book world, this is where we indulge the darker side of fiction. Welcome back to Vicious Ink, the podcast dedicated to the darker side of the bookshelves, where we sink our teeth into the stories, creators, and beautifully unhinged minds behind the books that leave bruises in the best way. Today, I'm joined by author D.E. Dietz, whose work lives in the deliciously dangerous space where dark historical romance, obsession, violence, loyalty, and survival all tangle together. Her brand carries that war-torn gothic pulse, and if you've seen the Afton Anders, then you already know she isn't here to write clean little love stories wrapped in silk. She writes ruin, rancor, and the kind of devotion that walks in with its blood on its hands. So today we're talking about dark historical romance, morally gray characters, writing trauma without losing tenderness, and what happens when love is forced to survive inside brutal worlds. D.E., welcome to Vicious Ink.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. I am so excited because so many of your books, I'm already fangirling. I haven't even dug into these. I bought as many of them as I could because you have a kind of a smorgasbord of my personal favorites. You have the historical romance. You have things that have to do with mythology that are just awesome. I am really excited to dig in for myself, but for the listeners out there, can you tell everybody a little bit about what your side of the bookshelf sort of is all about?
Yeah, so the one that a lot of people know is the Afton Adder series. It's got a little bit of Peaky Blinders vibes, but also touches into more dark historical romance. And then I've got Fragments of Asgard, which will be a series of its own. It's just kind of slowly coming out because the Afton Adders have been like screaming in my head to have their stories told. But Fragments of Asgard is modern day Viking lore. And then I have actually where I started off in the beginning was children's books. Um, that is what started the whole writing. I don't want to say phenomenon, but it was something that was so positive in my life while I was working as a nurse in COVID land. And it was just something that I could have as a positive. And yeah, so I'm a little all over there, a little bit of a mutt of an author.
I love that though. And I think a lot of authors kind of dabble a little bit here and there and well, we do. We dabble in all kinds of things, right? And getting your feet wet with one thing and somehow it just leads to something different. A lot of people probably would never believe this. I published a children's book a long time ago myself. And even though I write the darkest, smuttiest shit imaginable, I did publish a children's book a long time ago. And yeah, it's fun. Like you get to kind of be in a different sort of mindset and it's, you get to sort of, I don't know, it's wholesome. It's nice to have a palate cleanser, you know?
Yes, exactly. And it's just like a little bit like it's a different type of fun when you're going and making like, because I hand drew my illustrations and then I had someone make it into digital. Because me and the iPad cannot get along. So,
I feel that.
he is called Mock Shabaru, and I have him actually on my website because I love, kind of like you, I love being able to bolster other people out there. I'm like, these are all the illustrators that I use, so other people can possibly, get to know them and use them. And he's just an amazing illustrator in general, and he just really captured what I was looking for with the teeny tiny telescope. And the teeny tiny telescope turned into the little telescope, Hubble telescope, so to speak. But because of NASA and copyright, it is his name is not the Hubble telescope. It's just the teeny tiny telescope. And each book, they go to a different planet and they have an adventure with the planet, get to know the planet. So then it has facts of that planet in there. So, it can still kind of learn from the little story. And then it just always emphasizes on being unique and trying to help hone that in with kiddos. And then it just kind of started snowballing a little bit because then I made the diabetic dragon, which actually I made for my friend's kiddo because my friend told me a sad story that their kiddo was getting made fun of at school because they had diabetes and they had a Dexcon, and it made me so like just upset. And legit, it's always either in the shower or 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when like stuff really hits my brain. And so I was in the shower and legit started rambling off to my husband as he was brushing his teeth. I'm like, I'm going to make this story about the diabetic dragon. It's going to go like this and this and this and this. And then boom, the idea after the shower, I started drawing and putting it all down, pen to paper. And he's like, did you seriously just do a kid's book in 37 minutes? And I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, I did. Oh my. And he's like, no, I'm all here for it. You do you, boo.
Yes. Yes. I love that. It's the most random times that things come to you like that. And I have ADHD, so I feel that on a very real level. It just sort of like I have to do it, and then hyperfocus sets in.
Yes, exactly. And then while I was writing that, it gave me a lot of positive outlet, especially with COVID and after seeing a lot of just the struggles that we went through and just really had to pull for some positivity and just like an outlet that was nothing medical related, nothing with the news or anything, just a different literal world because the teeny tiny telescope. And then all of a sudden after that, just my brain, I was actually reading Scarlett St. Clair's A Touch of Darkness series. Yes.
Yes.
And I
Love
don't know.
Persephone.
Oh, and the retelling is amazing. And the way that you have, the city and everything is just phenomenal. And I really identified with Persephone because of how controlling Demeter was. And
Yeah.
just how I was grown up a little bit. And it's not to like, be negative about my upbringing or anything. Like, I am grateful for how I was brought up, but there are some things that were a little different. And I really just kind of echoed what she was feeling. And then I don't know how, but I was like, you know what? I was inspired by Scarlett to try to write my own story to somehow maybe have my story resonate with other people too, but not like a biography. And so I started writing Fragments of Asgard, the modern day Viking lore. And the first chapter is super rough because it is the last night with my ex spouse. But instead, the FMC has a hidden power. And so, unfortunately, I apologize to all my female main characters. I do put a lot of my trauma in there, and as my therapist says, it helps me bleed it out in a positive way. And so she has a good portion of a lot of things that I went through in life. But luckily, she has powers and she can protect herself and she overcomes it like a badass. And it started getting really heavy and just opening up Pandora's box so much that I like took a break for a little bit. And all of a sudden, I always joke that Everett Afton came knocking in the back of my head and he's like, I have a story and it's my story and I want it to be told. And at that time, I was, watching Peaky Blinders and I absolutely love it. And I love the way Stephen Knight writes. And I'm a huge fan of, The Gentleman and Guy Ritchie films and Martin Scorsese and a whole bunch of old gangster films and crime syndicates. Love it, love it, love it. And I also enjoy World War I and World War II history. And then this character, Everett Afton, just kind of started developing from his trauma of being a POW and being wrapped in barbed wire and just dealing with all of the torture that he had to deal with. And then trauma bonding with Brielle, who was a nurse in World War One, and she also had an abusive spouse, and she has a dark secret that's not just the, offing of her abusive ex, but another item that I won't spoil. And they trauma bond, and I loved writing their banter. I loved writing how they kind of developed and just was able to get lost in their story, so to speak, after kind of pausing on fragments and how heavy it was because there's not a lot of romance in fragments. It's a lot more identification and growth. And then it was just nice to have that breather. As much as it was hard and there's a lot of serious stuff going on, it was essentially like a movie in your mind, is what I was trying to do. And like I said, I love Peaky Blinders, but I did kind of want more of a romance side. I wanted that happy ending. I absolutely love Thomas Shelby, but I really wished he got that happy ending. Now with the movie that came out, I was like, no. I mean, it was poetic how they did everything, but I was like, no. What about the romance, the love? And I'm like, but I get it. That is how Stephen Knight's
Yeah.
Thomas Shelby is. And so I was like, well, I want my own, and then I'm gonna mix him with just kind of my own aspects and items that I find attractive in men, which I was like, that's a little selfish. But luckily there's other aspects that readers were like, yes, I love this. Um, and it was funny because the Afton Adders, it was only going to be the family and the one book. And I had such horrible imposter syndrome. And I was like, I'm going to screw this up because that was technically my first novel that I released. I put Fragments of Asgard on the back burner until I was ready and I felt comfortable because Fragments was such a vulnerable, open soul book that I was like, I can't make that be my first one because if people are going to be mean and awful to this book, which they will, I can take it. I can take it for this one, but I can't with that one. So then I had kind of a buffer to thicken up my skin and get ready for the real world of Goodreads,
Yeah,
which my
Goodreads is brutal. It hurts sometimes. Like, wow, they don't hold back.
no. And my husband's like, all right, I'm blocking it from your computer. You're not allowed to go on there.
Good man. Good
Because
man.
he's like, some people just want drama and confrontation, and it's easy to do it on a keyboard, no matter the platform, not just Goodreads, but anywhere. And
Mhm.
yeah, and so it started to just be that one book, but then as it picked up, I was like, oh wow, like hearing from readers, like, I want Bobby's story and I would like more for this and more for that. And I was like, oh, people actually liked it. Like, you kind of felt it reminded me of being that little nerdy kid in school where you're like, you like me? You really like
Yep.
me? Like, I'm so weird. Oh, we can be friends. Yes. And I really started tacking on to these readers that just they're like in my street team now, and I could never imagine I would have a street team. Like I still to this day I'm like, pinch me, holy crap. Um, and especially meeting people from other like countries like Sweden and Ireland and Australia and especially New Zealand. Like my best friend, pretty much soul sister I found in New Zealand is Freya, and also helping, she wanted to write a book. And I was like, do it. And she goes, well, I have questions and this and that. And I was like, I am more than happy to help you as best as I can. Like, I want to see you succeed. And I know, how some of this stuff feels like. Um, so with them loving Bobby and the characters, I was like, cool. So it bolstered me to make a second book with Bobby. And then also kind of bring Bobby's troubles and Tilly also creating her troubles and dynamic of having like very controlling parents. And then also she has a cutting issue that gets it comes out whenever her parents are around because they are just so posh and just like, this is our vision of you. This is what you're supposed to be. And she just turns back into that little kid, which I know a lot of us feel that way, depending on certain family members. And so I wanted people to be able to identify with that and then see Tilly's growth and also speak to them and maybe also give them a little bit of light to get some strength to potentially, speak up for themselves if they are going through that. And then Marcus, he is bisexual, and back in, the 1930s, that was very taboo. And so I really wanted to speak to his character and how he has like this self-identification and like he guilts himself for what he loves, which he shouldn't have to. And then they each have, this trouble, but they're able to come together and grow and flourish and heal together. And it's just, I tried to beautifully weave that together. So then it just felt like they were whole. And that was my goal with them. And especially with Marcus, there was a bit of a piece because my sister's gay. And growing up, like I would hear some negative aspects about it. And now that I'm an adult and older, there's this part of me, and I understand I was a kiddo, but still, I wish I could have done more. And I wish I could have, you know, protected her. I wish I could have stood up for her more, even though we're about like, I think like 14 years apart. But still, I wish I could have done something for her. I always feel that guilt because it's your sister. And even though like we're so close and like she doesn't need protecting now. It still resonates with me because I remember things that people said to her. I remember the doubt that she had and just the horrible treatment that she got from some family members. And it just still, even though she says she's fine, there's a part of me that's like, but you shouldn't have had to deal with that. And no one should have to deal with that. And, some of my closest friends, they're this beautiful couple, John and Chala, and they're our best friends. And like, I don't know, I think about them and luckily I believe that like we're in an amazing community and stuff, but if they ever had any type of and well, no matter who, anybody that I love and care for, I get very protective over them. And sometimes it's a good trait and sometimes it's a negative trait because they'll be like, I need you to just calm down, especially my husband. He'll be like, he's very introverted, very calm. And I'm just like, all right, let's go.
Yep. Yep. I know that feeling extremely well. You become the Doberman. Yes.
Yes. And you're like, well, you just never, you know what it feels like to not have someone speak up for you. And then you love someone so much and like, you never want anything negative to happen to them. And you never want them to feel those negative feelings because you can deal with those negative feelings. But then it's like, don't you, ever, yeah. And so I tried to have that as well be almost like, I don't know, anyone that felt anything the way that those three characters were, I hope that they could identify from it and almost feel like they were whole with them as well. And the third book is about Kenneth. And it was funny because everyone hated Kenneth. They're like, he's such an asshole. I can't stand him. And I'm like, I'm going to make you fall in love with him. It worked because he's a grumpy cinnamon roll.
Yes.
And it was
we love a cinnamon roll. I love that so much.
I had so much fun. And don't tell my other book children is what I always say. Don't tell my other book children. They are my favorite couple. Like I love the banter between them. They're both just spicy. And when I say spicy, I don't mean, well, I guess it could be my smut too, because they are spicy smut. But when I say spicy, it's always in terms of like personality hot sauce. So like I'll say that to people. I'll be like, did you eat something spicy today? Because like you're very spicy. Did you eat some hot sauce? You're just very spicy this morning. And they are just live wires, man, but they have a reason why. And with Alice, it's, being in this family where she's just put in a place to be in a place. She's a pawn. She's married off just for politics and to, benefit the family. It has nothing to do with her. She can never be good enough, similar to Tilly. And then Kenneth, he has a dark past that he was assaulted as a kiddo, and his mom is just awful to all of her children. And so they all in the Afton family have that trait of just like unconventional, mom. So they have to deal with that kind of growth as an adult. And it's where a little bit of them have a chip on their shoulder. And then there's Bobby, who he's crazy. but
I love that. It's
but
just crazy.
yeah, he's just Bobby's just Bobby. Um, Give him a stick of dynamite and he's happy. um,
Nice.
but, um, with each of them, and I'm so sorry I'm rambling, with each of them, again, I wanted readers to identify something with each character. And at the same time, Brielle, sorry to my characters, Brielle, I gave my ex husband and some of my PTSD. Tilly, I gave her a little bit of my upbringing and unfortunately cutting. And then Alice, I gave a little bit of more so the feeling of feeling inadequate and not controlling parts of your life, but then also stepping into yourself. And then all three of them, find themselves, become stronger, and they find a partner that not only supports them, but helps them grow and they can become stronger because of them. It's not them shielding them from everything. It's them being like, all right, I'm going to make you the best version that you can. And that part is mirrored from my marriage now. Because I wouldn't be writing probably if it wasn't for my spouse. And to kind of touch upon that, if that's okay. Um, I would write a lot as a kiddo. It helped me kind of get a lot of stuff out. And I was able to have like almost like diary journals. It wasn't really of your day and venting. I had venting stuff, but then I also was able to kind of have these sessions where it's like, I wish this is what happened with, XYZ. um Kind of reimagining like a fun time, a positive time, just different stuff as a kiddo. And funny enough, I will never get over this. Sorry, Jerry Bruckheimer and Gore Verbinski. But I was a dumb high schooler. And I had this little part of me that was like, just try, just try, just try. And at this time, I actually applied for a screenplay directing school, and I got a little bit of a scholarship. And I also was working with a contemporary theater company where I was growing up and in high school. And then I had a lot more like positivity and support, especially from that theater company, especially a guy named John Putnam and Tatiana Longroat, where they just really fed my creativity on the side. And so I wrote this script and I wrote it after watching Pirates of the Caribbean, which was the thing that my friend and I would do. We would go watch it in theaters. And I wrote this huge script, handwritten, so many pages,
Nice.
ridiculous. I went to Kinko's, photocopied it, put it in a manila envelope with a typed up letter on Word doc, and sent it to God knows how many people. I used all of my money from working at the pizza shop. And oh my God.
That's
And
awesome. The ambition, like the kids today don't have that level. My kids certainly don't have that level of ambition. That is awesome. Like, kudos to you. That is amazing.
well, the funny part was, so I actually somewhere in the house, somewhere in a memory box, I have like several memory boxes because I hoard cards and things and letters and stuff. And I still have a letter from Jerry Bruckheimer Productions and a couple other places where it's like, we don't accept solicited scripts. And I don't know who I all Googled, but anything and everyone that I could think of, I Googled. And fast forward to the end of Pirates of the Caribbean 3. So this is when it just started off where you waited to the end of the movies to see like a little
Yep.
Easter egg, a little something something. And my friend nudges me and she's like, they're hinting to the mount or not the mountain, excuse me, the map of Fountain of Youth. And I'm like, yeah, it's all pirate stuff. It's all pirate stuff. And she's like, okay. Then fast forward to how long that next movie came out, the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're in the theaters, and I shit you not, she is sitting there like holding my hand and like squeezing it harder and harder and harder with each thing that keeps coming up from Blackbeard, Blackbeard's daughter, the Fountain of Youth. I didn't have mermaids, and she's like, D, and I'm like, shut up. Shut up. It is just a coincidence. And she's like, they had to have used some of your stuff. And I was like, no, it's a coincidence. It's a really big coincidence. And she's like, well, did you have anything? I was like, I have a handwritten document with the date and time on it. Like, that is not any copyright. That is nothing.
Oh, God.
But it is a huge coinky dink. And maybe I'm crazy, but a huge coinky dink. And it is kind of still fun to discuss.
That's that. Okay, we'll call it a coinkydink if you want to call it a coinkydink, but okay. Damn. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time something like that in the movies or in the entertainment industry or music industry has ever happened.
Mhm.
But
And
you know,
yeah, and fast forward to now, why I have so many copies of everything. I immediately copyright, and I'm actually
yes.
going for a trademark
Good job. Lesson
for
learned.
everything. I'm like, just in case. I would hope that like I feel like I'm a pretty easygoing person, like, and I would be just to manifest and be a dork. I would love for a series. I would love for a series on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon, just because I love the characters and I feel like they would resonate so much with so many people. And also, I feel like it's pretty damn entertaining, especially Baba, the matriarch of the family. She's
Hmm.
so insane. Um,
And if they gave a series to Lights Out, I think you have a good shot here. Like, come on.
possibly, but it's like I discuss with what I vent with some of my friends, like it's not its time. And the reason why I say that is because I've done probably about like 84 to 86 query letters. And I just recently, the last 2 months, I had hired somebody to like coach me on query lettering. Because I am a nurse by trade. And so my brain is very like, I don't know, it's not, I can write this stuff because it's fun and it's my passion on this side and love, but my career and like other part of my
The
brain,
business side of things. It's like a totally different animal than it is the
yes,
creative side of it. It sucks. Yeah.
yes. And there's aspects of a query letter that I was like, oh, I didn't know that you should put this, and this. No wonder why I get automatic like rejection. And you're like, oh God, I wish I did this sooner. And I mean, again, it isn't the fantasy of now. There's no fae. Again, sometimes people hear, dark historical romance or just historical romance. And even some, individuals from the ALC team was like, yeah, I got assigned your book. And I was like, I don't know what to think. And I wasn't like, to be honest, wasn't really looking forward to it because I heard historical romance, which there's nothing wrong with that. And then they said, my mind was blown because it wasn't what I expected. And it had, action and romance and banter and suspense. And I was like, exactly. I want to take you on a ridiculous roller coaster ride and I want to make you feel everything. And yes, and like I guess too, like I love the aspect of that time period. Like even though I have fragments of Asgard, I love the time period because it's just something that takes you out of this world and this era. There's no cell phone, no
Mhm.
technology. There's a little bit more suspense that way because of how communication goes.
Yep.
And especially with my upcoming book, Venator Mortis, which is um, Hunter of Death, and it is a gothic thriller romance. It's all about these serial killers. They're all hunting Jack the Ripper for their own reasons.
Yes. Oh, fuck
Yes,
yeah. I love Jack. Sorry, I get very excited.
I
I love the
yes.
Jack the Ripper lore so much. And it's probably, it's clearly something wrong with me. Um,
No, not at all.
Tracing that whole like puzzle, like through history and all of the different, I'm a junkie for it. I am stoked. I want arc reader right here. I will be the arc reader.
Oh my gosh, I will send you a flippin' arc hand hard copy book. I'm so excited. This has been so much fun to write and I just oh if it's okay to talk about it a little bit, I'm so sorry.
No,
Um
please, please, go hog wild on this. Go ham. I am stoked about Jack the Ripper shit. I want to hear all about it.
oh okay, so it starts off, it's about like 1880s or so, and not only that, I was an Afton whore, as I like to joke about, because the twisted twins are Aftons, and they are like the uncles from the Afton family. So it's still in the Afton world because I'm an Afton whore and I love my Afton adders, man. And so you have the Twisted Twins, you have Lazarus, the Slaying Sickle, and you have the Widow. And her name is Olive, which I was like, I have to have like a
Nice.
cute name because then that can help with banter later on. And it is a why choose. So we
Yes.
start off with the widow, and she is obviously known to go around the world and marry people, and they die mysteriously, and she gets their wealth. And
Oh, so
she's been
she's a
doing this.
Black Widow. Is she a Black Widow?
Mhm. She is a
Yes.
black widow. And with that in the time period, I was like, okay, I'll just stick with the Widow because there's so much, Black Widow, and then you got Marvel Black Widow. And so I was like, she is the Widow. And then because it is that time period, it's so much easier to, have that era of mystery and to get away because there's no TV, there's no cameras, there's no
Mhm.
electronics to track you and trace you. You can be nefarious as hell back then as we know from history. And so she marries, but she marries horrible people. And the reason why is because of her deep, dark story. She unfortunately had a wonderful little family, a simpleton life, and this horrible, greedy man was infatuated with her mom. So her dad dies in a farming accident, and then he, takes the mom and Olive, and they live there with her stepbrothers. And at the time, she's young and innocent, and she has no idea that she's being groomed.
Oh,
And then the mom finds out when she's, becoming a woman about 14 years of age that this is what's going to happen. And so she flips out on him and he kills the mom by accident. And I'll leave that for being read so then you can hate me for how she dies. And this is where Olive flips because not only is she no longer a 14-year-old little girl who had an innocent life, but now she realizes this person who is her stepfather is horrible and horrendous, and her world literally flips upside down and it sets off this trigger in her brain, and she kills the whole family up in flames. And then I don't know why I did this, but I was like, I want this to be unique to her, that she only sees black and white and gray. She does not see color anymore after this horrendous incident. It's just a trauma response from her body. So that is Olive. And we get her retelling of her childhood in a very, very beautiful and poetic way in chapter one. And then chapter two, you go and see, this beautiful cabaret that she's set up. And the cabaret isn't just this beautiful hall where she puts on shows similar to Moulin Rouge and such. It's also a safe haven for women. And not just women, but for people that want to do that kind of job. She wanted to make sure that they could have a safe haven. And that is where Jack the Ripper comes into play, because he murders one of her girls in her safe haven. And she's like, oh, hell no. And then pause on that. You have the slaying sickle. This adorable Lazarus had a horrendous mother who was absolutely horrible to him, but it takes a different twist where he always just wanted to be loved and he always wanted to do good. And it didn't matter how many times his mom spit in his face, hit him, nothing. He just wanted to be loved and to do good. So he adores women, absolutely loves them, and to the point where he will slay people that hurt the women of the night that he has befriended. And so he will go and do some things to people that harm them or even make fun of them, because he's like, no one messes with women, that's just who I am. And he's a little aloof, a little ridiculous, but that's why we love him. And the best friend from the cabaret is also one of Olive's girls. And so that's where he comes into play, where he's like, oh my gosh, my best friend died. Like, this Jack the Ripper guy, I gotta kill him. And he tries to get him a few times in other chapters, and he does a horrendous job because he's so loud and aloof. And so Jack the Ripper gets away. But that's what makes it a little comedic in this serious book. And then you have the twins. You have Edward and you have Alcott. Edward is the older brother, and Alcott is the younger brother, where he's a little bit more playful, but he has multiple personality disorder. He has the darkness. So, the way Alcott and Edward grew up, similar to the slaying sickle, they had horrendous parents where they did drugs, they hurt the children, they actually would sell the children so they could get drugs. And they became in debt to this guy and called the collector. And unfortunately, it transpired into their adulthood where they're still paying for their parents' debts, but they're not having the abuse. They're actually in assassinating people. They're henchmen. And Alcott can't remember the horrendous times with his mom and dad because the other persona, the darkness, shielded him from that. But the darkness is an asshole and he just goats Edward. Edward's dealing with his own issues of trying to deal with his trauma from the past. And when it comes up, he spirals. And then the darkness is just like, oh, seriously, you're going to do this again? Why don't you just kill yourself this time? But not to be like a horrible author and put them through all this turmoil, there's a reason. Because similar to Marcus, Tilly, and Bobby, I love that they all have this horrible background and they all come together in a it's an orchestrated way, and it has a crescendo. How do they all meet? Well, the twins go to a party to go do a mark from the collector, and they end up um, getting this guy who is very pompous, very full of himself, and they don't realize it's Jack the Ripper. And so when they take him to their shop to go do unspeakable things to him, because they're like, this guy's so pompous and awful, we don't want to just kill him right away. We want to make him suffer. And well, Lazarus and Olive are trailing behind, and they all collide in this chaotic
Nice.
way.
Nice.
Yes. And I actually did for Spellbound in the Valley last year. I did a little 15-minute snippet of the collide, and I tried to make it in a way to write it in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
Nice. I love that so much.
It was so much fun to just like this unhinged with trying to rhyme and like the aloofness of Lazarus and then the twins and the banter and the bickering and then the sexual tension as they're getting ready to potentially, do this bidding. And then I won't say too much, but there is a build up because it isn't just about this story of them and trying to get Jack the Ripper, because obviously they get him and something happens, but there is this whole underbelly from the collector to Jack the Ripper. It's high society and they want to bring it down and they want to take it down. And Lazarus has actually a footing into that world. And then the twins are able to kind of help, you know, camouflage them within it. And so they're able to team up, infiltrate that underground world. And the reason why I got fixated on that is because unfortunately I spiraled down into the Epstein files. And I should have never done that. It was,
Oh, don't do that.
yeah, yep.
You'll get sucked
And
in hard. Oh my God.
so hard and just like disgusted and angry, but it was like anger that you couldn't do anything about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to rip the world apart. Like, this is awful. And like, I have kiddos and just like, yeah, we won't go too off the handle, so I apologize. But this was one way I could feel just bleeding out that energy
Hmm.
is by that. And it's and it's been hard to still like get through that. And there are parts of the story where I'm like, I hope readers won't be like, oh my God, she took this way too far. Um, but I just really wish that something could be done with that part of our world because it seems like it transpires throughout time, unfortunately. Because unfortunately, we know that there was monsters like that back in the day, and we just don't know about it because there's no social media.
Exactly. I'm glad that you were able to kind of fuel that into your book a little bit and be able to sort of have that as an outlet. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I absolutely love writing, and I always have. It's therapeutic, and even though we write some unhinged shit. I think every single dark writer, gothic writer, dark romance writer, will say the same thing, that it is, we're not coming up with this stuff for nothing. Like, there's a
Hmm.
reason we're talking about sticking a hand into into a blender or into a garbage disposal, or, taking a person's body apart bit by bit because they've done unspeakable things to other people. Like, there's a reason that's in there.
Exactly. And then I almost like kicked myself in the pants because there is one name that unfortunately has become common in my books. And I was like, oh God, I didn't even realize that my brain was doing it, even though I have written this out. And someone on my street team was like, you mentioned this name in this book, and also in this arc that I'm reading. And I was like, oh God, I didn't even realize it. And it is because it is the formal name of someone in my life that was horrendous. And granted, in real life, they go by their nickname, but I use their, legal name in the book because it was my way of getting back at them for the horrendous things that they did to me. And then I was like, whoops, I don't think I never used their last name. I don't think I'm in trouble. I think. Hopefully, I don't think they'll read this.
It's okay. No one has to know. No one has to know.
Yeah, it's like that reel. We're like, they'll never know.
Yeah,
They'll never know.
exactly. It's okay. It's okay. Secret is safe here with the, thousands of people on the podcast. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, totally fine.
So I want to know about the wide shoes element. So is it The FMC obviously, and then is the twins involved in the Y choose as well?
Hmm.
Nice.
So,
I love a good twin
um,
dynamic.
yes. So you have the twins and you have Lazarus. And Lazarus, again, he's very aloof and he's just kind of okay with everything. And he kind of identifies where their strong suits are. And he could see like this alliance. And I actually have to give credit to Ruby Darling after reading Speak because Damon, beautiful Damon, is kind of he saw um, the strong dynamic that could happen with their relationship. And so I was a little inspired from that, but also not taking their personas or anything like that completely different because obviously I never want to, cannot duplicate the amazing Ruby Darling. But she helped inspire that aspect because Lazarus is aloof. He sees this, alliance that they can make and also fun and romance. And he's like, let's go. And Olive is like, you are crazy. And he's like, duh, like, did you not realize this? But obviously in 1880s language, like that has been the whole fun part of making him, where she's
Oh,
like,
the
you,
language. Yes. Like
yes,
using the speech from back then. I love that so much. It's that's sexy. The
oh,
gentlemanly language and the way that they curse and like the foul language that they had. I find it really sexy.
yes.
It's a weird thing. Maybe it's a kink. I don't
It
know,
is
but
not weird. It is oof. And with him, oh my God, because he lures her in because she gets super pissed off with him, like wants to cut him off, if not kill him. And she goes to a, ball to find her next husband victim. And she's dancing and she sees that he's there and she's like, oh, for God's sake. And he's like dancing with her and she just can't get away from him. And she's like, you are getting in the way of me talking to the man who owns this. You're getting in the way of my plans. And he's like, you're talking to him, baby. Well, I mean, not like that. But she's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, sorry,
yeah.
spoiler alert. And so at this point, you don't realize he's a millionaire. And he never talks about it. He slums around. He's so aloof. He's not organized. And you're like, you can't be prestigious. You cannot be a millionaire. And he's like, I am. And she's like, bullshit. So that's a funny aspect to try to, again, bring a little bit of comedy into the serious book. And then they do this just very sexy dance and the tension. And that's one thing I wanted to try more of is just like the soft, subtle tension, the little touches, the little moments and movements, and like going back to like it made me think of Romeo and Juliet. Like let's have our lips do as hands do when they touch, and then it amps up because the night gets a lot later. She's been drinking to deal with him. And he's like, I'm not gonna let you go anywhere. You're too vulnerable at this moment. And she's like, you've made me vulnerable. This is all your fault that I'm like this. And he's like, oh, I love when you berate me. Like he just loves when she's degrading him.
Yes.
He's like, yes, please more. And she's like, something is wrong with you. He's like, we've already identified this. And
I
then
love it. I love it
she
so
starts
much.
like pushing the envelope of it. And then I hate to say it, I don't think it's stealing, so let me know if it is. I will always be up and honest and smack myself. Cruel Intentions. You remember Cruel Intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I will be a good boy if you give me a kiss.
Oh,
And I was
I
like,
love it.
yeah.
I love it. I love that so much. We love a good boy kink on here so much.
Yes.
Uh,
And we have a Cruel Intentions part, and then she goes to sleep, and then when she wakes up, boom, the why choose happens because Alcott and Edward, he invites them over and he leaves a note on her side table that's like, we are going to be playing hide and seek. I have locked you in the house. And then when she wakes up, she overhears his voice echoing in this huge mansion. He's like, your monsters have come to get you, my dear. You better hide. And she's like, this
yes.
motherfucker.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's so sexy. There's something wrong with me that I would love
Nope.
to be locked in a house and have that
Nope.
happen. Like that would be awesome. Yes, lock me in a house. I'm so sad. That's so terrible. Oh no.
They have been so fun to write, but then also the dynamic and then trying, or not trying, just tying everything together, especially with their different personalities and balancing everything out has been so much fun. Just so much fun.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read this. Now I understand like this does need a TV series. I can see it. It needs a series to go through all of this. There's so many cool little plot twists that could happen. I can absolutely see oh, this who if this was a TV series, who would you want to play your guys?
Oh, oh my gosh.
Don't worry, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings, I promise.
So if it was for Venator Mortis, I would absolutely love for Henry Cavill to be Edward.
Yes.
He'd be absolutely fabulous. Um, when it comes to Alcott, we need someone that can do both dark but then fun. Because I love Bobby and Everett, and so I made him a mix, except a little bit more darker Everett. And I was like, I want to bring them back, but they're in one person. And so someone that can kind of switch that up. Maybe, oh gosh. Oh, who's the dude that did Moon Knight?
Oh,
Oh,
oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. See, Moon Knight.
oh man, that's gonna kill me. It's gonna come to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm gonna message you.
Uh, was it Stephen Grant? Is that it? No, hold on.
He's in the new show Beef, the second season of Beef.
See, the cast was Oscar Isaac,
Oscar
Ethan.
Isaac.
There you go.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, he's sexy.
he
Yeah, yeah.
he is so versatile. And then when it comes to our
He's
crazy
Silver Fox.
Lazarus,
Oh my goodness.
he is a beautiful man. Oh my gosh. Absolutely beautiful. And his acting, especially with Moon Knight having so many different
Hmm.
like areas that he had to touch upon,
Yeah.
brilliant. Brilliant. Um,
I live
Lazarus.
in Los Angeles. I know there's people out there in the entertainment industry that's listening to this right now. Hear me out, man. Like y'all need to pick this one up. I'm begging you. This
Oh, that'd be
I
so
would
cool.
love to see this. Like, what made you decide to go down the Jack the Ripper? Like, were you just really interested in it? Was it like a vibe that you just have always had? Like, what made you decide Jack the Ripper? This is it. We're doing this with a wide shoes.
We are soul sisters in the aspect of being. I always feel bad saying fascinated by Jack the Ripper because it's not like you're fascinated like oh he's so cool. It's fascinated like how why are
Yeah.
you like this? It's listening to murder podcasts and watching these documentaries on Netflix or Amazon where it's like why was this person the way that they were? Like I just finished one on oh gosh, what is his name? Um, he was a killer in Florida and Wade Wilson, I think, because they made fun of the fact that his name was after Deadpool, even though that was his legal name. And he had the tattoo of like the teeth and the scars on his face and all the face tattoos. And he got a lot of notoriety because he was handsome to people on social media and he got a following, but he murdered like two or three women and he was abusive and he was awful and he did drugs, but because he was attractive, this phenomenon grew, and now he's on death row for the horrendous things that he did. And it's, just like, why are you the way that you are? And with Jack the Ripper, especially the fact that he technically has never been caught, no matter the theories and the way that they've tried to deep dive, because they didn't have the technology and the science that we do now. And it's just like, if only we could catch you, and like just
Yeah.
that fascination of what drives them, what is in their mind, and then to like just kind of identify it, understand it, but then in the book be able to overcome it and then make him serve justice for what he
Yeah.
did, because he never did. And that's one huge thing with actually all of my books is not only PTSD and growing from, anything that the character's dealing with, but justice. I am huge on just making sure that the bad people get what they deserve.
Yes. I agree. I love that. I think that's the biggest thing because most of the time in a lot of the books that don't have a real life character like Jack the Ripper, it's there's we're addicted to toxic men in fictional worlds. They don't always have justice because somehow the toxic men usually end up being some sort of an anti-hero in some capacity or another. And would like your guys, they go out and they kill people to help the women, right? So in a weird way, it's like you really probably shouldn't go kill people, but cool beans, like you're doing it for a right reason, right? So it's still like a toxic trait, but like in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about characters like a real life portrayal, real life one like Jack the Ripper, I think the thing that always got me was he clearly wasn't an intelligent human being. He had planned things out in such a very precise medical way. And I'm convinced he was some sort of a human being in the medical field based on everything
Yeah.
that kind of went down. And I think that's the thing that is like so fascinating to me is what turns such an intelligent, a highly intelligent human being into doing that and have to be thinking about it in such a step by step, like you're thinking about it for weeks, months, years on end to complete this thing. And then you continue to do it over and over again. And like you just going to go and have a cup of coffee the next day. Like it's nothing. Like that's,
Exactly.
I don't know. That's mind boggling to me. Or maybe I'm just a
Yes.
wackadoodle myself.
No, have you seen the movie From Hell with Johnny Depp?
No, I haven't. I need to see it. Everyone keeps telling me I need to watch it.
So that has Jack the Ripper about that. And so I think you would definitely enjoy it. And I'll send you like a screenshot of what it looks like because it goes into that a little bit. And like you said, like he had to be someone super intelligent. Most sociopaths are, especially a lot of the killers that are caught, you find that they're highly intelligent. Um, and it's just like, holy crap, like how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, it would be cool to see actually, even if the only justice that we ever get is just finding a name. Like, definitively, this is who did it. That at least is some form of justice versus just like, motherfucker, you got away with
Yes.
some shit. Like, that is bullshit. Like, I don't know. It's a thing, but I'm so stoked to get to read this book. I am very excited. I get so many of my favorite elements all in one, all in one story, and it's like such a badass story.
Thank you.
So when does this epic story come out? When do I get to look forward? When does sorry, I'm acting like you wrote this specifically for me. When does everybody get to have this story?
Maybe I did. Um, so it will come out in October of this year, and then
My
the
birthday. See, you
audiobook.
did write it for me.
When is your birthday, if you don't mind
October
me asking?
21st.
Mine is October 13th.
Yay! Oh, happy birthday to the Libras in the room.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And then the audiobook comes out in November.
Oh, yes. Do all of your books have audiobooks as well?
Most of them do. Actually, yes. Now to think about that. Sometimes it takes me like a moment to be like, holy, you have audiobooks. Like, um, yeah, Fragments is an audiobook. The Afton series is an audiobook. Um, the holiday book is actually going to be an audiobook this winter. That was like a fun little palate cleanser of chaos. Um, and then Venator Mortis, and then next year will be the fourth book of the Afton Adders will be Hearts Restrained by Rope. Um, yeah, it's so crazy to like see this come to fruition and actually to touch base on something that you talked about earlier, if you don't mind, with starting off authors or anything like that. Like one huge thing that I've learned through this and pretty much through life is like you can make your dreams come true to a point as long as you just it sucks to hear no, it sucks to get rejection, it does, but keep going. Like I said, like I've had 80 something query letters be denied, and probably more than half of them are from the first query letter that I probably should have done a little more research on. But um, reaching out to audiobook productions and talking to them and just keeping pushing, 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 finding artists that I could really connect with and then also bolster their stuff and connecting with readers and not only just having my readers feel seen and heard through my writing, but also through me. Like I try to do
Hmm.
my best to connect with every comment or celebrate things with them. Like if I see something on a feed, or some of my readers will be like, "Oh my gosh, I got a new job, and I don't know, I just felt like telling you," and I'm like, "Congratulations, it's fabulous, it's amazing." Um, or just bolstering and boosting other people. Like we talked about in the beginning, like it's so important to help support one another and spread that love, especially with what's going on in the world. Like we can make that scream louder than the negativity surrounding us. We can make it positive, and same thing with your life. Like no matter and maybe that's why, life gave me a lot of the shit that I dealt with, but through all of the stuff, you know, as much as it sucks, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be so grateful for everything that I have. And my husband makes fun of me because I'm always like, I am so grateful for you. I love you so much. And
Oh,
he's like, I don't know what I did, but okay. And I was like, I wish you could understand. And I never want I don't want anyone to go through the shit that I went through. But you just have a weird, different perspective on everything. And not just from the abuse that I had, but also, being a nurse, you see people in the most vulnerable positions of their life. And maybe I talk about it too much, but I'm really proud of the fact that I have saved over 200 people with my hands because of CPR.
thank you
But
for your service. That is awesome. You guys went through some shit. Like I just had to sit in my house with my kids and try to not like crawl up the walls with them and homeschool them during that time.
but
You were on
still,
the front lines. Like thank you for the work that you did.
but that isolation took such a toll on people. And in return, I hate to say it, also these hands have put over 700 people in body bags because I worked hospice and oncology and COVID and the ER. And, you just really, your perspective on so much changes. And maybe it's annoying because I'm always like, grateful, 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 positive, positive. But it's hard not to be. And with that, I hope it helps drive people to be like, keep pushing forward. I wish I could remember who said this. Maybe it's in a book or a movie or a person said it to me once, but it's not a bad life. It's just a bad day.
Yep.
And that always kind of stuck with me. And then another comment that I probably should have never heard was my old commander. I was going through a lot of the crap that I was going through, and I was not the person that I am today. And he should have never said this because this is where I turned. And he goes, "Can it eat you?" And I was like, "I don't understand what you mean." He's like, "Can it eat you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Cannibalism?" And he's like, "No, if it can't eat you, then don't ever be scared." He should have never told me that because now I'm like, let's go.
Yes. I love that. I love that. It's so true. And I tell this to my kids say I'm the most obnoxiously positive person ever. Like they get so mad at me that because I'm really I know I'm an obnoxiously positive person all the time. And I think I see this with a lot of people that I went through a lot of trauma myself. Like I'm right there on top of the trauma hill with a lot of other people. Um, I think the people that have been through the worst of the worst tend to be the ones that are the most positive because we know what it's like to be at the bottom, like the bottom of the emotional hill, the bottom of just, can I go on another day? What it feels like to have somebody stand over you and make you feel about an inch tall. I know what that feels like. And every single day that I don't have to feel like that is the best fucking day ever. And it drives my kids nuts. So I definitely, I feel you with that. And there's no point in being afraid of anything in this world because you have so much to experience. There's so many amazing things out there to experience, like amazing conventions where we can go and find you and your amazing books.
Love you.
I can't wait to get to some of these. I know like the Dark Collective has some killer stuff out there, like the Sinners in Stardust, and they have what's the other one? Shadows. God, I'm
Shadows and Seduction.
Yeah, Shadows and Seduction. I'm trying really hard to get there this year, but it didn't work out. So I'm hoping for next year. But yeah, I'm so stoked for you and everything that you have going on. And God, I can't wait to read these books. So thank you so much for taking the time and coming on here and making you made my whole fucking week. I mean, I had a great weekend, but this was the highlight, man. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wish I could hug you. Like, not to sound weird, I feel like a high. Like, this just feels damn good.
I try. Thank you. Well, I hope that, do you have a few like extra minutes I could borrow you for a little segment I like to call Viciously Bitten?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. All right. Can you tell everybody where to go and find you on the socials and where they can go and pick up copies of your awesome books and audiobooks?
Thank you. So I have my books on barnesandnoble.com, on amazon.com, Audible. It's also on Libby and Hoopla for those that love audiobooks. And then my socials are dietz.author for Instagram and TikTok. And then you can just Google the Afton adders and it pops up, which is really cool.
I love that. Yes. All right, everybody, we are going to head on over to the Substack. And for those of you who are both subscribers on Patreon and on Substack, thank you so much for your amazing support, because without you guys, I cannot continue making podcasts like this or doing any of the work and basically putting food on the table and keeping the lights on. So I appreciate you guys more than you will ever know. And because I appreciate you, you can head on over there and get the very special after hour segment, Viciously Bitten. And as always, please go be wicked and read something vicious.